there are only two genders, male and female.
It's the issue dividing nations.
This is the right wing. This is the bigotry.
And families.
It's not about if you care or not, it's how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Mum, do you feel safe or not safe? That's the question.
Now, Aotearoa must decide who has rights and who doesn't.
No one with a penis should be allowed into a woman's toilet.
Do you remember the first time you were mistaken or someone called you a wahine or a little girl?
I think it was about 7, the first time where someone said she instead of he.
What was it like to have that?
I was excited, and I felt like that was who I am.
From a young age, Sharman Matthews knew who she was. But growing up transgender in Narua Wahia in the late 90s was lonely.
Being brought up in this kind of neighbourhood, in this kind of town, it was unheard of being transgender. Dad found it a bit difficult to kind of accept that. I decided about 11 years old that I wanted to do the full-time transition.
What did your whānau make of it?
I think it was a huge shock. It was taboo, and it wasn't something that was common, and especially with someone so young. They were kind of blaming themselves, and they were looking at why. Unfortunately, I did have to leave home due to how my parents reacted. I packed all my bags and I actually took my dad's stash, which was a bit of money, and I got on a bus and I went to Tauranga.
She set out to find her older sister who had moved there.
I thought I could just take my sister's photo and show it to somebody and say, do you know my sister? And I thought that I'd be able to find her immediately, but unfortunately that wasn't the case for me. I got to Tauranga and I found myself on the street.
11 years old?
11 years old, yeah.
How long were you on the street for?
I guess on and off the streets for about 3 or 4 years. I was doing things to make sure that I could house myself, which some things I'm not proud of, but, at the time it was to survive. I was fighting to survive. I was doing burglaries, I was stealing cars, and also taking drugs to take me out of the reality world. And there was fraud. By the time I was 15 years old, I was advanced criminal by then.
By now, Shaman was living as a female.
I did prostitution. Back then, prostitution was illegal. It was soliciting. When anyone turns to that kind of lifestyle, they're looking for someone who can either relate or accept them. And when you're doing a transaction like that, you don't just feel accepted, you feel empowered. Not only is someone giving you what I would say at the time, love and affection, they're also giving you a cash transaction.
Did you put any blame on your parents? Because a lot of people will be thinking, how can you let your 11-year-old child go out on the road and do what they want?
I don't blame my parents because it was my choice, I always knew at any point I could have gone home. But unfortunately, I didn't feel that they would have welcomed me back in the skin that I was in.
Shaman's lifestyle finally caught up with her.
I ended up going to court, and because I had so many different aliases, I was actually going to be sentenced to prison. I ended up telling the police who I really was. I'm only 15, and the case was actually thrown out, and my parents were ordered to the Tauranga District Court. And I ended up back in my parents' care. But that was also only for a short amount of time. I ended up in Auckland in the red light district. That kind of life continued for me for a long time. I was trying to get a normal job, but what I could make in a normal job in a week, I could make that in a day.
Michael and the team of Lone Lights Cabaret!
In the bright lights of K Road, she discovered cabaret and took her place on the stage. It was in that environment Shaman found support in the transgender community.
Did you feel like you were living your best life as a wahine?
I did, because that was where I felt most accepted. By that time, I felt I was a really full-time woman. I was living authentically as my authentic self, so yeah, it's been a very long journey to get to where I am today.
At 37, it's taken a lifetime for Shaman to be recognised as a wahine. She's in a stable relationship and is a mum.
I've been very fortunate to have love and found love and be in a man's presence, and for someone to be proud to hold my hand and walk in a public space for me. My life is completely different. I'm now a mum, I'm a grandma. It means the world to me, absolutely.
After years of being estranged, Sharman Matthews has started to reconnect with her whānau back home in Wahia.
Did you miss your mum?
I did, yeah, I did.
Her mum Shona is battling a number of health conditions.
What has it meant to have her back?
Good. Good. Because she's our baby. She's home. You know, like I can ring her or she can ring me when I need her or something.
Was it hard not having your daughter there for those years?
No, it wasn't. Because it was a road that she chose. And you choose that road, you walk that road.
What was it like finding out that she was on the streets doing prostitution?
Yeah. That was a nightmare. Oh, well, you want to do what you want to do. You get out there to that big open world and see what happens.
Did you carry any responsibility as a parent for that,
Shaman,
for what she went through?
not at the beginning because it was her choice. I'm really sorry, but I'm hard.
Yeah.
I'm hard. So if you want to go and play, you go and play those games. When you want to settle, then you come back.
Coming home has been complicated.
It's definitely challenging at times, but you know, me and my mum, we're just alike. We're very similar. I guess that's why we do sometimes butt heads.
For Shaman, the ability to be authentically seen has been hard won. But is this all about to unravel?
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
The debate on transgender rights is raging overseas.
The terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex.
And the division has now landed on our shores.
There is 23,000 plus signatures here. It's a petition that asks that a woman be clearly defined in legislation as adult male and female. Let the games begin and the discussion begin.
New Zealand First is introducing a controversial new members' bill. It means trans women will not fit the definition of a woman under law, and Shaman can't fully live her authentic life.
This bill is not only stripping trans women and trans men of standard healthcare rights, but also having the right to just walk in a public space and being accepted in society.
But there is strong support for the bill. And I've come to Australia to meet one of its most vocal advocates. Michelle Aotearoa is Māori, but has called Australia home for the last 30 years. In 2019, she co-founded Women's Action Group, a group of rural women who are concerned about the erosion of women's rights. But she's drawn the ire of the trans community, who says she and her group are spreading trans hate and misinformation.
We see how this contamination is sweeping through white middle class. Groups of girls are suddenly coming out as non-binary or boys.
She doesn't want us to reveal her location because she fears for her safety. She says she's received death threats, so we're meeting her today at a secret location.
No one knows what a woman is anymore. Everyone's suddenly developed amnesia. I am wahine. I'm wahine Māori. That's all it is. It's not complex.
Can't people just be who they want to be?
What do you mean, who they want to be?
If they feel like they're born in the wrong body.
But what does that mean?
They identify more with being a wahine. Or a
But
man.
how can they identify as being a wahine if they're not one?
Michelle's not alone. Other high-profile anti-trans advocates include Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling.
She's brilliant. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that J.K. Rowling has stepped forward on this. Absolute admiration for J.K. Rowling.
And in Aotearoa, Posey Parker, who sparked a violent protest when she came to Auckland.
Oh, she's tenacious.
The word turf.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, yes, someone who actually acknowledges reality. So I believe that the acronym is Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, but everyone gets labelled a TERF if you actually acknowledge reality, so it's lost its meaning completely. We've been called all kinds of things, John. Bitch, slut, witch, Nazi, TERF, everything but a wahine, interestingly. And all we call trans women are men. And I don't think being a man is a bad thing.
Michelle has organised high-profile protests in Melbourne.
You barely survived the first colonisation. This, in our opinion, is the second, and we will not lie down!
I know you didn't want us to reveal where you live, your
Yeah,
location,
no,
because of your
that's
safety.
right. And yeah, it's because of the unhinged, insane trans rights activists and all the threats that we've received. You know, it's an abomination the way that they
Does
behave.
that come with the territory?
It seems to. You know, we don't ask for it. We certainly don't. We don't believe we deserve it. But that just goes to show we must be saying something right.
What are your takes on trans people in women's bathrooms?
Oh, yeah. Men and women's bathroom, absolutely not.
Trans women in sports?
Oh, yeah.
In women's sports?
That's cheating. And you'll find that a lot of those men have never been successful in men's sports.
Should trans people be allowed to serve in the army for their country?
I do not think the taxpayer should be paying for plastic surgery for these men in the armed services because they feel that they're women. I don't think that the taxpayer should pay for that.
They're taxpayers as well, there's that argument.
Yeah, sure, but so is everyone else.
Michelle believes teaching kids about gender diversity is to blame for the rise in children believing they're born in the wrong bodies.
That's a very new thing in my generation and even in my grandmother's and so forth. You know, there's nothing in our culture, and there's no carvings to even, you know, prove that we believed that any of our tamariki were born in wrong bodies.
And yes, I have to say it, I guess, the first transsexual in New Zealand to be standing in this House of Parliament, not only in New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen, but also in the world. This is a historic moment.
What do you make of a trans leader like Georgina Beyer, who is very much out there and the first trans woman to be an MP? She had quite a prominent life and role.
Yeah, he did. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's Georgina, it doesn't matter which man it is. The only qualifier you need to be a trans woman is to be a man.
Do you takahi on someone's mana, though, if you don't? You keep calling people he.
But I'm entitled to my own, you know, I'm entitled to my own freedom of speech, my own freedom of belief, and I will always exercise that.
Do you think your words carry harm?
I don't know. I don't know. How many men who think they're women have been harmed since we've been talking? You know, like, words don't actually harm. You know, what harms is physical violence.
I think they do harm.
Well, I think physical violence harms. So
Is that
when we're
all?
on the steps of Parliament and they are trying to assault us, you know, that is harmful. Why should I be forced to call men women? Why should I be forced?
Do you have any sympathy for the trans community when it comes to this kind of a bill and the impacts they believe it could have on them?
Again, it's a different premise. They start at, we men are women. I start at, well, no, you're not. You can't be. I don't see how it can harm them because they are men.
It's really uneducated, and most ladies that have had those kind of opinions, most of them haven't actually had an encounter or had a sit down and met a trans woman and gotten to actually know what we're about and who we are.
But she has major concerns about how the gender bill might impact on her and her loved ones.
I feel like this bill will give uneducated people a different outlook on who I really am as a female and who I identify myself as. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional because, yeah, it will definitely take away everything that I have worked all my life so hard to get to.
You hear the arguments often come down to transgender women like Shaman make women feel unsafe.
I don't know, because I think it's different when they're your own. I don't care. But she's got a lot of family here and they wouldn't care either.
Yeah.
You know, but in that open world, I don't know.
Answer the question, Mum. Do you feel unsafe? Just stick to the question about what's been asked. It's not about if you care or not. It's how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Are you proud of your daughter?
For what she does or for what she is?
For everything, you know. For who she is.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. She doesn't really hear this from me often. I don't really share those things, but yes, I am.
What is it like for you to hear your mum say that?
It's not something that my mum often says, but it's beautiful. And I know that she means it wholeheartedly.
What will the 11-year-old Shaman make of the woman sitting here today?
I would hope that she would be proud, and I would say to the 11-year-old me that it's all going to be worth it, and keep going. Don't let anybody's opinion stop you from being the amazing person that you're capable of being. Yeah.
For more Hui content, subscribe to our YouTube channel.